Namaste, aloha, my name is John Pati Das. Thank you very much for tuning in again. I am going to try to complete the video. I got cut off before because I couldn't find the 18 Pearls of Vedic Wisdom, but I found that. So we're going to cover half of the purport from Jagaguru on Mantra 15, and we will read both purports again for Mantra 16 from the Shri Ishopanishad. So please accept my respects, everyone. Please let me offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master and to my spiritual grandfather. And let's chant a little bit just to get into this video. Namo Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsanamine Gorakarya Swarupaya Radha Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So, we're just going to read Mantra 15. Mantra 15, and then we'll get into Mantra 16. Since the purport is short, we can fit it all in one video. Yay! Exciting. Mantra 15 by Jagaguru. O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Please remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. So we've been reading last class about the idea of the God, different stages of God realization, and the idea of the Brahman effulgence being the dazzling light that's covering is coming from the body of Sri Bhagavan, Krishna. And impersonalists strive to merge into this white light, as this is the extent of their God realization. Purport: this mantra clearly describes that the Lord is a person, and that the Brahman effulgence is emanating from him. This is further confirmed by the Supreme Person himself. In the Bhagavad Gita, I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness, and which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal. Chapter 14, verse 27. So we reiterating some of the quotes that Bhaktivedanta referenced in the Bhagavad Gita. So while some yogis strive to merge into the Lord's effulgence as, quote, dewdrops merges into a shining sea, the most advanced yogi, the Bhakti yogi, humbly begs the Lord to remove that dazzling effulgence and reveal himself. Such a perfectly realized Bhakti yogi is not at all interested in getting a glimpse of or even merging into the white light of the Lord. Such a devotee is simply interested in seeing the Lord's beautiful transcendental form and in rendering loving service to him. The absolute truth is Sat Chitananda, eternal Sat, Chit, full of knowledge, Chit, and full of bliss, Ananda. The absolute truth has three aspects: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. The least advanced transcendentalists realize the Brahman feature of the absolute truth. In Brahman realization, the transcendentalist experiences the Sat aspect of the Lord. So, the eternal feature of the Lord. Those transcendentalists who are more advanced realize the Paramatma aspect of the Lord. The Paramatma is an expansion of the Supreme Person. He is within the heart of all living beings. In this Paramatma realization, the transcendentalist experiences Sat and Chit, the knowledge, right, eternal and knowledge aspects of the Lord. The most advanced transcendentalist knows Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in Bhagavan realization. I'm going to back up a little to maybe say this right. The most advanced transcendentalist knows Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavan realization, the transcendentalist experienced the Sat, Chit, and Ananda aspect of the Absolute Truth. Because the Brahman and Paramatma aspects of the Lord originate in Bhagavan, because Bhagavan is the cause of all causes, anyone who knows him automatically also knows the Paramatma and Brahman aspects of the Absolute Truth as well. So last time we referred to the realizations being like a train. So we hear the train is the Brahman realization. We don't see it, but we hear it coming. We know it's coming. And then we see the train coming. We see it has form. And then the train shows up eventually with all the people in it. So we know more and more about the Supreme Personality of Godhead as we go higher in realization. So I'm just trying to figure where it was. Okay. Okay. He knows the Absolute Truth in full, and on the other hand, both Brahmana and Paramatma realizations are only partial realizations of the Absolute Truth. The 14th mantra is further evidence of this fact. Those who know only the Brahman effulgence aspect of the Lord see him as an impersonal force, like an ocean that one must strive to merge with. Those who also see the Paramatma feature of the Lord appreciate that he is a person, but they see him only in relation to this material world and the living beings in this world. They see the Lord as the overseer, creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the universe, the witness of our thoughts, feelings, and actions, the supreme accountant of our karmic dues, as well as the loving friend who gives us instructions from within. Those who know Bhagavan, however, know not only that the Brahman effulgence is merely an offshoot of the personal form of the Supreme Lord, but also that the Paramatma aspect of the Lord is merely one of his side features. As the Supreme Person confirms in the Bhagavad Gita, with a single fragment of myself, Paramatma, I pervade and support this entire universe. Chapter 10, verse 42. Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami comments on this verse as follows. Thus, by his one plenary expansion, the all-pervading Paramatma, the Lord maintains the complete material cosmic creation. So the Paramatma is not the Supreme Lord's primary feature, nor is managing the material creation his primary activity. His primary feature is Bhagavan, and his primary activity is enjoying loving pastimes with his loving associates and devotees. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, doesn't administer the material world directly. The administration of the material world is carried out by his plenary expansion, the Paramatma, and by the demigods who work under the Paramatma. In other words, the material world is working automatically by the arrangement of Bhagavan. And while the Supreme Person Bhagavan is enjoying an infinite variety of loving pastimes with his devotees in the spiritual world, these loving relationships with the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be classified as Santa Rasa, neutrality, Dasha Rasa, servitorship, Shankar Rasa, friendship, Vatshalya Rasa, paternal affection, and Madhura Rasa, conjugal love. In his kingdom, Bhagavan reciprocates with each and every person exactly according to the kind of loving relationship they desire to have with him. And he deals with each and every person simultaneously. He is not limited to dealing with one person at a time. Sometimes the Supreme Lord himself descends to the material world to give the embodied souls an opportunity to have a glimpse of the wonderful, beautiful nature of his pastimes in his kingdom. He does not need to come here to engage in those pastimes, for he is eternally engaging in them in his own abode. Some impersonalists make the mistake of thinking that the Absolute Truth or God is ultimately impersonal, but in order for him to enjoy variegatedness in love, he must descend to the material world. or they say, becomes the world and the living beings in order to try to enjoy loving relationships within the world of matter. So we discussed some of these impersonal concepts of God fragmenting himself into the world in order to enjoy. But Krishna is the source of all enjoyment, of all happiness and love. So to say that, and he has the whole variegatedness of relationships with living entities, his living entities in the spiritual world. So there is no question, when you think that God is just a void or a great white light, then it's hard to imagine that God would have any features to his personality, or a personality for that matter. They come into this faulty conclusion because they don't know that the Supreme Person has his own spiritual abode, which is full of individuality, love, and variety. Because he has his own kingdom where he eternally engages in loving pastimes with his devotees, he obviously has no need to create or descend to the world of material energy in order to enjoy such pastimes. When Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared in Vrindavan, India 5,000 years ago for this very purpose, to personally display his all-attractiveness. Because the Supreme Person is all-attractive, he is called Krishna. The meaning of Krishna is all-attractive. To faithfully hear of the loving, wonderful pastimes of Bhagavan Shri Krishna in Vrindavan is to directly see and taste the kingdom of God. There is no higher pleasure for the living being. This 15th mantra clearly confirms that the attractiveness of the effulgence of Brahman is insignificant in comparison with the attractiveness of the face of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Shri Ishopanishad makes it very clear that the most advanced yogi is interested in the Supreme Person himself, not in the Lord's effulgence, nor in the Lord's kingdom for that matter. A lot of times you have Christians or people who are just like, they just want God's kingdom, the gold streets and palaces and all that, and God is somewhere benedicting people or whatever. But the devotee of Krishna wants Krishna. It's not interested in gold streets. Those who consider seeing or merging into the impersonal Brahman as the goal of life or of their yoga practice should seriously meditate upon this mantra. This mantra not only reveals the necessity of transcending the Brahman effulgence, it shows us how to do so. No one can remove the Brahman effulgence from his eyes, nor one can transcend the Lord's effulgence by his own yogic or mystic powers. So how, in such transcendence of the Brahman possible? Only by the mercy of the Supreme Person. There the devotee humbly begs the Lord, "O my Lord, please remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee." And this is the relationship that you see with Moses and the Supreme Lord and Muhammad and the Supreme Lord. The relationship of devotion and love is what brings the living entity face to face with their Lord. Such a prayer can only sincerely be offered by a person who has unflinching faith and love in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who denies the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or believes that the impersonal Brahman is the ultimate cause obviously cannot surrender to the Lord. It is impossible for them to sincerely pray to God. Such envious people, no matter how learned or adept at yogic practices they may be, can never see the Supreme Person. No one can force his way into the presence of the Supreme Person. It is the Supreme Person who allows someone to see him. He reveals himself to who he wants. No one else can see him. And what is the Lord's decision based on? The individual's devotion. The Lord reveals himself to his pure devotee. The Lord does not reveal himself to the envious. The atheist protests, "If God exists, how come I can't see him?" The reason is that the atheist is covered by his enviousness of God. God exists, but the atheist is incapable of seeing him. In order to see God, he must become purified of his envy. His heart must be cleansed with the tears of love for the Supreme Person. Then he will be able to see the Lord face to face. Beautiful, beautifully put. And so we are going to continue reading through Mantra 16. I'm going to fit this onto this video. A little extra from you guys since we got cut short last time. Mantra 16. We won't read through all the different mantras. We'll just go right into it. Pushan Ekshare Yama Shurya Prajapatya Puya Lashmin Shamuha Tejaha Yate Rupa Kalyanata Mam Tate Pashyami Yoshalva Shao Purusha Sa Sohamasmi Pashan, the maintainer, Ekshare, the primeval philosopher, Yama, the regulating principle, Surya, the destination of the Suris, great devotees, Prajapatya, the well-wishers of the Prajapatis, progenitors of mankind, Vihuya, kindly arrange, Lasmin, the rays, Samuha, wind up, Teja, effulgence, Tat, that, Te, your, Rupam, form, Kalyana, Tamam, auspicious, Tat, that, Te, your, Pashyami, I may see, Yaha, one who is, Asal, the sun, Asal, that, Purusha, personality of Godhead, Saha, he, Aham, myself, Ashmi, I am. Translation, Mantra 16. O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal supreme personality of God, and like unto the sun, as am I. So, a lot in that verse. So here, Krishna, the devotee is praying to Krishna to please remove the Brahman effulgence so that he can see Krishna face to face. And that he is like the same spirit, he has the same spiritual energy as Krishna. And I can see in my Vigraha, my spiritual form, the Jivatma, can see as a spiritual entity, can see you as you are the source of spiritual energy. Purport: the sun and the sun's rays are one and the same qualitatively. Similarly, the Lord and the living entities are one and the same in quality. Excuse me. The sun is one, but the molecules of the sun rays are innumerable. The sun's rays constitute parts of the sun. The sun and the rays conjointly are the complete sun. Within the sun planet, there is the sun god, and similarly within the supreme spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan, from which the effulgence Brahmajyoti is emanating, there is the eternal Lord, as stated in the Brahma Samhita. The transcendental abode of the Lord Krishna is the land of touchstones on which the houses are built, shaded by desire trees. The Lord is engaged there in herding the Sarabi cows, and is always served and surrounded by thousands of goddesses of fortune who wait upon him with all respect. The description of this transcendental abode of Lord Krishna is in the Brahma Samhita, and the Brahmajyoti is described there as the supreme rays of that planet, from that planet, just as the sun's rays come from the sun globe. Unless one surpasses the Brahmajyoti glare, one cannot have any information of the land of the Lord. The impersonal philosopher, being blinded by the dazzling Brahmajyoti, cannot realize the factual abode of the Lord nor his transcendental form. Affected by such a poor fund of knowledge, the thinkers cannot understand the all-blissful transcendental form of Lord Krishna. Shri Ishopanishad therefore offers this prayer to the Lord to remove the effulgence rays of the Brahmajyoti, so that the pure devotee can see his all-blissful transcendental form. By realization of the impersonal Brahmajyoti, one experiences the auspicious aspect of the Supreme, by experiencing of this Paramatma, our all-pervading feature of the Supreme One, experiences a still more auspicious enlightenment. And by meeting the personality of Godhead face to face, the devotee experiences the most auspicious feature of the Supreme. Being addressed as the philosopher, the maintainer, the well-wisher, and so forth, the supreme truth cannot be considered impersonal. So you cannot enact philosophy by being impersonal. You can't maintain anything without, or do the action of maintaining, or to be the well-wisher, to be able to as an impersonal force. Just not possible. These are all actions. Actions are done by people. That is the indication of Shri Ishopanishad. The word maintainer is especially significant. The Lord maintains his devotees specifically, although he is the maintainer of one and all beings. By surpassing the impersonal Brahmajyoti, when the devotee sees the personal aspect of the Lord and his most auspicious eternal form, then the devotee realizes the absolute truth in full. Srila Jiva Goswami says in the Bhagavata Sandarbha as follows: the complete conception of the absolute truth is realized in the personality of Godhead because he is almighty with full potency in transcendence. So this is that word that we've come across before in the Bhagavad Gita, Vibhu, which means all opulences in full. Krishna is the possessor of all six opulences. In the Brahmajyoti, the full potency of the absolute truth is not realized, and therefore the Brahman realization is only partial realization of the personality of Godhead. O learned sages, the first letter of the word Bhagavan is twice significant. The first in the sense of one who fully maintains, and second in the sense of guardian. The second letter, Ga, means guide, leader, or creator. The letter Va or Ba means that every being lives in him, and he also lives in every being. In other words, the transcendental sound Bhagavan represents the infinite knowledge, potency, energy, opulence, strength, and influence, all without any tinge of material inebrities. Nice. The Lord fully maintains his unalloyed devotees, and he guides such devotees progressively on the path of devotional perfection. As leader of his devotees, he ultimately awards the desired result of devotional service by giving himself to his devotees. The devotees of the Lord see the Lord eye to eye by the causeless mercy of the Lord. I'll read that again. The devotees of the Lord see the Lord eye to eye by the causeless mercy of the Lord. And thus the Lord helps his devotees to reach the supermost spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan. As creator, he can create all the necessary qualifications in his devotee so that the devotee can ultimately reach him. The Lord is the cause of all causes, and there is no cause of him, for he is the original cause. As such, he enjoys his own self by manifesting his own internal potency. The external potency is manifested not exactly by himself, for he expands himself as the Purushas, and it is in these forms that he maintains the features of the material manifestation. By such expansion does he create, maintain, and annihilate the cosmic manifestation. The living entities are also differentiated expansions of his self, and because some of the living entities desire to be Lord, imitating the Supreme Lord, he allows them to enter into the cosmic creation with the option of fully utilizing the propensity for lording it over. And that's good luck with that. We've been not doing very good with that. On account of the presence of his parts and parcels, the living entities, the whole phenomenal world is stirred into action and reaction. So the living entities maintain this universe. This is stated also in the Bhagavad Gita. The living entities are given full facility to lord it over material nature, but the ultimate controller is the Lord himself in his plenary feature of Paramatma, the super soul, in which is one of the Purushas. Therefore, there is a gulf of difference between the living entity known as the Atman and the controlling Lord known as a Paramatman, the soul and the super soul. Paramatman is the controller, and Atman is the controlled. Therefore, they cannot be on the same level. The Paramatman fully cooperates with the Atman, and thus he is known as the constant companion of the living being. So the Lord travels with us while we're in the material world and in our heart next to us. This all-pervading feature of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping, and also in potential states, and from which the Jiva Shakti living force is generated, as both the conditioned and the liberated souls, is known as Brahman. Thus the Lord is the origin of both Paramatma and Brahman, and therefore he is the origin of all living entities and all else that exists. One who knows this engages himself at once in the devotional service of the Lord. Such a pure and fully cognizant devotee of the Lord is fully attached to him in heart and soul, and whenever such a devotee assembles with similar devotees, they have no other engagement but to glorify the Lord in terms of his transcendental activities. Those who are not as perfect as the pure devotees, those who have realized only the Brahman feature or the Paramatman feature of the Lord, cannot appreciate the activities of such pure devotees, of such perfect devotees. But the Lord always helps such pure devotees by supplying necessary knowledge within their hearts, and by his special favor he dissipates all the darkness of ignorance. This the philosophers and yogis cannot imagine, because they are more or less depend on their own strength. As is stated in the Katha Upanishad, the Lord can be known only to those whom he favors, and not to anyone else. And such special favors are bestowed upon his pure devotees only. Shri Ishopani here indicates such favor of the Lord beyond the purview of the Brahma Jyoti. Nice. Okay, so Jagaguru, Siddhaswarapananda. O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principal destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal, supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the sun, as am I. Purport. The 16th mantra further confirms that the absolute truth is ultimately a person. Not only is the absolute truth referred to as a primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, and other terms that point to his personality, but he again is begged to remove the effulgence of his transcendental light rays, which are hampering the devotee's vision of his spiritual form. The very fact that the Lord is being asked to do something, specifically to remove his effulgence, is evident that he has a will of his own. He can do as he pleases. A recognition of this fact is the basis of real prayer. So once again, a very important point of when we're trying to understand the absolute truth, we cannot understand the absolute truth by ascending to the absolute truth, by trying to climb the Supreme Personality of Godhead with our speculative mind or our fruitive activities, or just trying to understand things by our own means, or our own mind, because he has a will of his own. If he wants for us to know him, he will let us know. It's by the mercy of Krishna that we come to know Krishna, but Krishna is mostly interested in the devotion of the living entity, the love by which he's devoted to him. Those who claim that God is impersonal feel very uncomfortable with prayer, because prayer points out to the reality of the personality of God. To pray to the Lord is to recognize that he is a conscious person distinct from oneself. It is to recognize that he has his own will, and that his will and pleasure are supreme. To pray to the Supreme Lord is to accept him as the supreme dominator, and oneself as dominated by him. So it is not hard to appreciate why so many people struggle to deny the reality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They don't like feeling dominated by anyone. So this is the truth, because I was just like, surrender. I remember before I started chanting, I was like, I don't want to surrender to anyone. It's like, this idea of surrendering or being dominated by God. I didn't like that. They wanted to be the dominator, not the dominated. So because it's the dominator attitude, we want to be in charge. We want our way to be the right way, They want to be master, not servant. In other words, the reason what someone refuses to accept the Supreme Person is because they are envious of him. They want his position. Those great yogis who merge into the Lord's Brahman effulgence are still covered up by enviousness of the Supreme Person, and only when they give up their enviousness will they be able to go beyond the Brahmajyoti. The spirit soul is described in this mantra as a spark of the Supreme Lord, just as the sun ray is a spark of the sun. The essence or quality of the individual spirit soul and the Supreme Soul are identical, as is the essence of the sun ray and the sun itself. But just as a tiny particle of sunlight cannot be considered to be the sun itself, so the tiny spirit soul, the spark of God, cannot be considered to be God himself. That impersonalist foolishly concludes that because the spirit soul and the Supreme Lord are one in essence, they are one in all respects. But although this individual spirit soul is one with God in essence or quality, he is not of the same quantity as the Supreme Lord. It does not take a great deal of intelligence to recognize this fact, but unfortunately the impersonalists' intelligence have been covered by their enviousness. This material world exists specifically for those spirit souls who do not want to serve the Supreme Lord. It exists by the arrangement of the Lord as a facility for the attempted enjoyment by those spirit souls who want to imitate him. So we can't really ever blame anybody but ourselves for our own misery. As Tusta Krishna Das would say, take responsibility for your own misery. We wanted this. We wanted it. we sometimes still want it. Therefore, since the impersonalists are so covered by enviousness of the Lord, even if they successfully merge into the Brahman effulgence, they eventually will fall down again into the material world. While the Brahmajyoti offers refuge from the pangs of material nature, such refuge is temporary. The spirit soul cannot remain merged forever in the Brahmajyoti. So that's the end of this. It's a short purport. But we will next time, we're coming to the end here. We've got 2 more mantras, and next time we will discuss the mantra 17. Thank you very much. Namaste.